Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to the sixth season of the 5011 Chronicles.
Najiramba. Najiramba.
We in here, y'all. Jay,
We got
Dee doing the thing that we do, having conversations that spark conversation, and it is 2025.
It's 2025, y'all.
Where do we go from
We
here?
25 years into
Literally.
the 2000s is ghetto.
25 years into the 2000s. There's
Not even
so
25
much
years
to be
old.
said.
Like, what?
Okay. So we're going into another year with this. Okay. All right. Someone told me today
Just
I look 22, and I said I will take that. I will take that forever.
claim it. Claim it and own it.
Name it. Like literally, we got all the songs tonight. But yeah, literally. So 2025 has already been her own journey, and we're gonna have a whole nother conversation about the Orange House and all the things that are going on. Like, that is another conversation. I think that there will be more cheek shown in the coming days. And so, in lieu of that conversation right now, we're just going to start with Happy Black History Month.
Happy Black History Month.
Happy Black History Month. We're going to get into some things later on in the episode, but we wanted to talk about the year in preview because 2025 has already shown herself to be a different kind of girl.
Mm-hmm.
She stands out from the crowd. She does things a little bit differently. She comes off a little strong, a little
very
abrupt,
blunt, very direct,
very blunt. There's nothing demure about this young lady. She's here, and she's here. But we wanted to talk about it from a little bit of a different perspective because I think most people are going to be given their, and I think Dee and I might have said this on the pod before, but we're not really big New Year's resolution people. That I think
it's not really the new year yet.
It's not. I mean, it's really not. It's really not. But okay.
Ending and wrapping things up.
Look at there's so many things. There's so many things to unpack. So we're not really New Year's resolutions type people. We're more like it's a new year and I'm continuing my evolution people. So it's just a constant state of evolution. That's what we believe in. And with that comes, you seek out, you go out, you seek knowledge, you learn things, you begin to understand that you can look at the beginning of a year and have an idea just off rip what kind of energy you're going to get. There are going to be things you can't predict that you just can't get off of the method we're going to talk about today because we're going to get into some numbers. And I think we've kind of tiptoed around numerology a little bit with the episodes. We've talked about some things numbers wise, but we're really going to get into the numbers of 2025, the year of 9. And I'm actually going to, Dee, I want you to go in for a bit because you're a 9 year. You're a 9, like we talked about it last year. I was an 8 year, it was an 8 year, but it's a 9 year. Like, okay, hello.
And well, for one, really the 8 and the 9 wrap into each other. Really the 7, the 8 and the 9 wrap into each other. Because the 7 is like, 7 is God. That's God energy. That's what they consider like the number of nature. So when you go to the 8, now the 8 is the year where you were supposed to prepare yourself for the 9. Because the 9 is the year where you get all those blessings. The 9 is also the end of the cycle because it's the end of the count. We're going to start back over. And it's also a year where if you ain't on it and maximizing on the energy, it's going to pass you right on by.
It's going to pass you right on by.
Like it did the last time. Because it did the last time.
It's like when you're taking a test.
This time.
Do you remember like when we were like first grade, second grade type situation and you would have like, you would work your way up to like the review test before the final test? It's like you have these markers, you have your quizzes, your little chapter test, you get your review test, kind of big. Then you get to the end of the chapter test. And then once that test is done, we start back over with the same cycle. It's just a new season. It's a new chapter. So it's literally like that. Like that 9 is that you get this ending of this test. But what I wanted to go back to the 8 year that people tend to miss. And because we've just gone through one, I need everyone to do this. We just went through an 8 year. And so when we're talking about 8 and 9, super quick, let's back up. Numerology is a predictive practice of using the summation of a numerical value that's related to something. It could be a year, your birthday, whatever.
Your name.
A name.
Literally everything we do is numbers.
Everything we do is broken into numbers anyway. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You can call it a matrix. If you look at the movie The Matrix, you see it there, a form of it. But everything is broken down into something that is numerical in value, mathematical, if you will. And
come on here,
I had to get these locks. I had to get these locks up off this. Come on now.
Hair.
You know, you see the link. But numbers, numeric. Okay, so you get the summation and you use the sum number, this number that you have created from adding all of the factors. You use this sum to come up with some type of interpretation for what this number might mean in relation to the situation. That was very broad. It's going to make more sense in a second. So 2024, you have 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 4 equals 8. 2024 was an 8-year. We go up one number, 9, says 2025, 7 and 2 now. Okay, so we're in a 9-year from an 8-year. So 8 years are about reflection and things being realized because they've been revealed. So think about it. 7 is a God year. It's really where there's a lot of energy out there available. There's a lot of understanding and things that you can reach to. You can start some new things. There's a lot of blessings going around. If you're paying attention, there's a lot of brightness being brought into your life. If you're willing to grab it, comes with some tests. It's not just up for free, but okay. So 8-year comes, and because of some of the things you've gone through, you have these revelations. Things are revealed to you. You begin to see things a little bit differently. Because if you have learned from the things that you've gone through to get what you wanted, what you asked for, if you have learned from the process, then you are ready to receive. If you have learned and done it right, things will be revealed. You'll realize things. 8 years about enlightenment, which brings us to a 9-year. And Dee said it perfectly. This is the type of thing that if you're not paying attention and going out there to get yours, it will pass you by. You will blink and be like, where did 2025 go?
Exactly. So you got your revelations, you had your God year, you got your revelations and stuff. So you were supposed to be doing your work. While you were getting your revelations, you were supposed to be doing your work. So then once you get to the 9, you manifest and you create. And this is the time to make those dreams, those goals, make it happen. This is the time to capitalize on those blessings and make them even bigger than they thought they was gonna be. This is the time. So if you wasn't doing your work, and you wait, it's January, you trying to, let me do my work right fast.
Right.
Maybe I don't know.
I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know. Because we've been doing it.
We've been
going through it and doing it. So I don't know what to tell you if you ain't.
Year 9.
Get your head out the sand. That's all I can say.
Literally, year 9 is a big one because it is a year of transformation. And that is a really big word that's going to go a lot throughout this year. I'm going to predict that we're going to hear transformative, evolved. We're going to hear these type of progressed type words thrown out to describe things and how things happen. And I mean, it's going to relate to a lot of music, politics. We're going to see it in the arts. Think about this.
Remember when the song Summer 16 came out? And all people say all the time is stuff ain't been the same since 2016. That was the last 9 year, y'all. So I'm just saying.
Just saying.
Unanimously, everybody agrees, was the last good year. So, you know what I'm saying?
2016 was, yeah. So I think
we back in that energy.
We're back in that energy. We're back in the energy where those of you who have been dealing with, I want to make a major change in my life. I see myself becoming this person. like this, what this evolved version of myself looks like. That could be leveling up in spirituality. That could be the next step in one's career, that kind of financial positioning. This is a good year for that too, especially if you've been doing the work. Because the thing about it is you're not going to be able to grab things that you really haven't worked for because you kind of haven't earned them. It's like
and
you
you
also
probably
have to,
don't know what you want.
and you probably wouldn't really know what to do with them. That's one thing I've grown to accept about some moments in my life where I might have prayed for something and tried to manifest something that was out of season, is that now I can look back and be like, I hadn't earned it. That makes sense now. Because if this is what earned it feels like, I really hadn't earned it. I did not know
Listen,
what I was talking about.
period.
No clue.
Not this time.
This time? Oh. Because let me tell you, from last 9 year to this 9 year, let's do it.
Been a whole lot of
I've
growth and
been,
evolution.
let me tell you, I've been frustrated parts of this year already, but my energy toward this year has been very much, let's go. Like, where are you blessings? I've been working,
Yes.
kind of minute. Where's this energy? The karma come back. Like, it's literally, and so like, it's great to be on the other side and having gone through the cycles and tests and trials past 9 years to get here. It has like it. I'm just excited to see what
Life
the
ain't
9
been
year
no
reveals to
crystal
a lot
stair,
of
honey.
us. It hasn't.
Listen, we didn't hit a landing, okay?
Come on
We didn't
now.
hit a landing.
I'll
We just
say
went
another
up the
thing.
schedule to hit a landing.
Another thing about a 9 year that I found really interesting as I was learning, um, is 9 is a number that represents altruism and giving back and generosity. And I think we're going to see things happen around the world that you will be surprised who opens up their wallet to give out. And that's not me even praising some of the people who are going to do it, because some of that's going to be out of guilt. But the thing about a 9 year is that there will be those of us who are like-minded on a certain type of energy who will see things happen, and that's how we will be led to act, because that's what part of the energy of this year is. And it's not just financial giving that's going to be considered part of altruism. Like if you think about what it means to be selfless and to give of yourself, that's time. Sometimes that's a quick call in someone's on someone's behalf or in their favor for something. Now I'm not saying go out there and recommend every bum for a job, y'all, but I'm just saying definitely use your discernment and your wisdom this year, because there will be opportunities raised to you to give where it would be in your best interest to give. Use your
Yeah,
wisdom.
yeah. That was specific. I
Look,
use wisdom.
use your wisdom.
Keep your
Listen,
boundaries.
learn
We
from
ain't
both of
saying take
us.
down your boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Because we didn't built our boundaries over these. We did our work. So we built up our boundaries. So this giving season, we won't be getting it taken advantage of. We won't be getting used,
Mm-hmm.
but we will be giving.
We will be giving. 9 is a year of healing also. Especially on a spiritual front, in relationships. This is a year that if there are relationships maybe that you've wanted to mend, if there is, and I'm talking about not just external relationships, come on, internal relationship, me, myself, and I.
Listen,
Come on
child,
now, because
I gotta
there's
work
a
on
lot of
teenage me. Little me is good. Now me and teenage me about to hang out and get some things together.
teenage and young adult me. Because let me tell you, he still needs some 19-year-old, 20-year-old, 21. Like, we're having a conference call. There's 5 of
Mm-hmm.
us. We need to have a meeting. There's 5 of us that need to be present. And
Meeting of
we're
the
going
mind.
year by year. Because let me tell you, after a certain point, it doesn't become like an age bracket. It becomes like specific years.
This
That
year and this
this year
year and
old me, that one, like all 4 of y'all were different people, and we need to have a chat.
mm-hmm.
And all of you need different things from me now that I've gone through some things, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the other side of that. Mm. The way my tin hat just almost went on, and I was going to go on a tangent, and I just pulled myself back. But it's the fact that there is healing that can be brought from past situations like that in the present. You can't tell me time doesn't run concurrently. You can't tell me that. You can't tell me it doesn't.
And if you even think about it, like,
it's so beautiful.
If you're someone who believes that like your soul had prior lives, you are still carrying a lot of that also. So like the work you're doing now is for your next life. And maybe if you do it right, you ain't got to come back to this Milky Way ghetto if you do it right. Because I would love to just go on and be a servant for the Lord up there. You ain't got to make me a servant down here no more.
I just gonna take my mansion, I'm just gonna take that and I'll cash it in. I'm gonna cash in my Earth card. Look, I'll
Let
cash
me
my
be an
Earth card in.
archangel. I would love to be an archangel. Could you imagine me as an archangel? Oh my gosh.
You would eat.
I would eat down, okay?
Eat down. Hilarious. So real quick side story. A coworker and I were having a conversation, and at work they do know me to be a spiritual person that is just so occasionally people will bring stuff to me. They'll just come to me and ask me stuff. And if it's something I can answer for them, I will, and when it comes to if they need prayer, they know somebody they can just come chat with. Hey, pray for such and such. I got you. I got you, friend. Yeah. So I had this one coworker who came to me and was like, "Hey, I told somebody about this dream I had, and they said I should come tell you." And I said, "Okay, all right. Well, what you got?" And so in the dream, this person was walking and they saw a snake, and the snake started coming after them. And the snake is coming after them, and they're terrified of the snake. And so they take the snake and they throw the snake in a trash can with a lid on it. And they begin to just keep bashing the lid on the snake in the trash can. And it is cutting the snake up into pieces, all of which keep coming towards the person. So they're running again from the snake and they take the snake. This part, it was interesting when they first told it to me because I was like, looked at them real confused, like, until God spoke to me. But I looked at them real confused, like. So they were like, yeah. So then I take the snake and I take it and I bread it. I breaded it. And I take the breaded snake and I put it in Tupperware and I put a lid on it. And they said, I don't know why I breaded it, but I breaded the snake and I put it in a container and I put a lid on it. And the snake head kept coming to me every time I
Y'all
did
are in
anything.
Alabama,
The
so
snake
that
head
ain't
kept
that surprising.
but I mean, like, it's not okay. The average person that I know does not eat snake in Alabama. Like, it's something
Shady.
when we go. I know you were. That's why I was like, hang on,
I saw
one
the pause.
damn
He's
minute.
like, I know the.
I was like, wait, hold up. I'm not going anywhere. 2025 is about honesty. We coming back.
Squirrels, possums, snakes.
Those are all different conversations for different people, and snake is not snake and possum. I know somebody who might eat a squirrel every day, but
Ooh, every day.
not like they do, but they could. Um, but no, most of those no, especially the snake. No, that's something I've only had at either a restaurant in a different part of town, like not from here, like when we went visiting somewhere, like further south, further southern Alabama. And we went to a festival, and at the festival they had these different little concession stands. It was like almost like a carnival, but it was like maybe the Rattlesnake Festival. No, that one was in Op. It was some festival in southern Alabama, and they had fried snake there, and that was a journey and experience, and I did try it. I had fried gator as
Wasn't
well.
far fetched.
You weren't far fetched, but
But
every
I tried.
day, no. Now, let me just say, it's not a common thing, at least not where I'm from. Now, for some people, that's probably common, but okay, that's between them and their God. So, the snake, she braided the snake, and she said every time she tried to eliminate the snake in this dream, it's like the head of the snake kept coming back to her. And so, in that moment, I was like, well, snakes. Snakes mean transformation, change. It's usually represented by the shedding of the snake skin. Snakes usually mean some type of transformation, change, shift. They can mean deception but it just depends on how a snake is. The snake never bit her. She was running from it, but the snake never bit her. From my understanding, it didn't actually charge at her, it didn't jump and try and strike her. The snake was just coming towards her and she was scared of the snake. So this was her reaction to seeing the snake. And so I told her, I was like, well, I do know snakes represent, change, transformation. So there's probably some kind of transformation going on in your life. And as I began to talk to her, this is what I love about God, is as I began to talk to her, I stopped controlling what I was saying and I just kept talking and I just listened. And I began to talk to her about that dream because I said the snakes represent change and transformation. I said, and you know what's really interesting is you did everything you could in this dream to kill this snake. You cut it up with the trash can. You was about to bread him and fry him. I said, you were about to dress this situation up as whatever you needed to dress it up as for it to not be a snake that was coming towards you. I said, but did you notice that the head of the snake always found its way to you? So what I'm hearing for you is that you need to face this situation head on. It's whatever it is, you know what it is. There's something big in your life that is a big change, transformation, shift that you need to face head on. And she was like, oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. And blah, blah, blah. So it's been really interesting. So I said, now, listen, friend, I said, I'm the kind of person I get more in my sleep or in like quiet moments. So if I go to sleep tonight and I have a dream, I will let you know next time I see you if there's anything else for you to know. And she said, okay. So I go home. This is what I'm telling you because I claimed it. I said, if I see anything else for you, I will let you know. But it's like I'd already spoken out to God, like, hey, I'm willing to take something back. If you want her to know something else and she ain't listening, I'll go tell her for you. I'm but a vessel. I'm but a vessel. So I go home or I come home and I just remember that night I was in a meditative state for whatever reason. I could have been going to bed or whatever. But I ended up picking up my phone in this meditative state. And when I did, my phone opened up to the internet. And it said 2025 is the year of the snake. And it was just one of those random like MSN updates.
Yeah.
Like those, those things that kind of scroll. It wasn't MSN, y'all. I'm sorry. That was real old. It was
AOL
not.
update.
Whoa. It was Google. I was on Google. Wow. But like the Google homepage. But it was something like 2025 year of the snake, predictions and blah, 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 Chinese New Year. And I was like, wow. So I came back to tell her, I was like, hey, 2025 is the year of the snake. And in our conversation, that was how I was beginning to see that 2025 is a year, especially for people she was born a snake year too. So especially for those of you who were born year of the snake, that's something to be aware of, is we're back in a year of the snake in the Chinese
What
New
was
Year.
2000? What was that? The year of the...
No, ma'am. Year of the cock. Go ahead and stop it.
That's when I was born.
Yeah. There it is. So we're not even, so yes.
Let me
Now,
live.
not only numerologically, come on, word. Uh, that was a mouthful. Not
Okay.
only in numerology is this going to be a interesting year, but we see it on an astrology level. Astrologically, that is a word. On an astrological level, we can see that this year is another really interesting one. Last year was jam-packed with retrogrades. We had planets going in retrograde that hadn't been in retrograde in like
Nana.
27 years. Like
Lord.
they had been chilling for a while and they was like, I can't. I gotta get out. Like, so there were a lot of retrogrades last year. There were a lot of super moons. We had so many super moons
So
of
many.
different colors. So many. Venus was doing her thing, being visible and whatnot at different times of the year. But this year has topped that in a sense because one, at the time of this recording, and at the time of y'all hearing it, it will have already passed, but January 25th was the culmination of an alignment of 6 planets.
Yeah.
That is pretty rare. That doesn't happen super often. Or I would say it's uncommon. It's not something that happens often, but 6 planets aligned on January 25th, and 7 will align on February 28th. And what's really interesting about this is y'all know we get excited about the planet systems. The way the planets are moving. I
said except for this one.
Except the way, right, Earth is so ghetto, but okay, the way the planets are moving is really interesting this year. Like, okay, some of the insights that I learned, we have, there's a cluster of planets that are moving from from Earth water energy. And it was like specifically, I think Pisces and Capricorn. They were moving out of these houses. They're moving into air, fire energy, and they're moving specifically into Gemini and Aries, which are both in my chart. So they're moving into Gemini and Aries, which is wild. But what's really great about that is there's going to be this crazy shift potentially happening in so many forms of media. And when we talk about shifts in media, I'm talking about like music. We might see some types and genres and styles of music and artists becoming popular that would not have been popular in any other time in life. And it's like it will be a really unique period of time for this shift, like, because we'll see it show up in our art. We'll see it show up in our movies and the films that become really popular this year. And I think we're already seeing a taste of that with Just One of Them Days and its premiere, because that has really surprised people with how the turnout was for that. We know that Ryan Coogler's got a horror movie coming out this year. We know that Jordan Peele is probably doing something with Beyonce. Like, that's probably what's going on, is Jordan Peele and Beyonce are probably working on something, which is really interesting, because that to me aligns more with what's going on with the planets than anything else I think I've heard. It just really surprised me. Because did you hear about that?
No, I didn't.
So
when it comes to like
theory.
acting in movies, I don't really.
It's not that. No, it's not that. I think it's going to be her visual album situation, but I think they're doing it in a different. So there's a conversation happening on Black Twitter, in some of the Beyonce rooms, and in that intersection with some of Jordan Peele's fan base. There's been these conversations where people have noticed that some movements that they have had have aligned, because he was originally supposed to have a movie come out. And instead of that movie coming out on the day that it was supposed to come out, he's blocked that date off for something else. Beyonce supposedly has something coming out that day. And people have been looking at different things they've been doing on social media, just kind of following some of what they have been public about doing, and seeing some alignment in the fact that Beyonce and Jordan Peele might be working on something together.
And we wasn't able to get that announcement, because that announcement was on hold.
Exactly. So I'm thinking that that's going to align with whatever's coming out, because I watched this video where they were talking about Beyonce's third album. Everybody's trying to figure out what Act 3 is going to be about. And
it's a rock album. I really want
this girl made a really interesting take. She was saying that, using imagery and different things that had been referenced in the previous 2 albums and what was going on in life, and how she moved because most people don't know she moved the order of the albums. Originally, the first album to come out was supposed to be Cowboy Carter. And if you think about that in terms of how these albums felt, that makes more sense. Like, you can tell Cowboy Carter leads up to Renaissance and not the other way around. But because of what was going on in the world at the time, she chose Renaissance because she felt that the world needed to dance. And not, we don't need to go back to 16 carriages and cry about whatever and Jolene. Instead, we need to maybe shake a little ass. That's what Beyonce was saying. And she was right. It was appropriate. It made sense when World opened up and we were out. That tour was wild. It was phenomenal. It was perfect for the time. And Cowboy Carter coming out when it did, I think is going to get her album of the year. That is my prediction, is that Beyonce might win album of the year for Cowboy Carter, which is not her best album. But I think
I don't feel like, no shade, because I actually really enjoyed Cowboy Carter, but I already really liked country music, so it really wasn't like a big jump for me. It was just like, oh, Beyonce's doing this now.
Right.
But I wouldn't give it that though. I wouldn't give it that.
You would give it what?
Album of the year. Like to me, it
I
didn't
think
get
it's gonna
that.
win it. I think there's a
Here's
chance it's gonna win it
there's a
because
chance.
of the statement it's making. I think that
Hmm.
this album has bought album of the year. Um, and earned it. She's definitely earned it. She hasn't won album of the year yet, and I think she's gonna win it for Cowboy Carter. Honestly, I do.
I'm
Now, will I
surprised
be
Renaissance.
surprised if she doesn't? No, but I honestly think that this year that's going to be the album that, because of all of the payback that she's attempted to get by showing them she can just make more money.
Hmm.
Which I love the unbothered energy that she does with how she moves business. Like, someone made a point how that's a whole other conversation for a whole other day, and I'm not about to go on a tangent. So, yes, Beyonce, Jordan Peele, we're going to see what's coming. There's
Media,
going to be some really
astrology.
interesting, right, I'm getting there. You see, I'm getting there. There's going to be some really interesting things, I think, happening arts-wise because of how the shifts are happening. And the shifts happening, we have been in a 13-year time period here.
Hmm.
We've been in a 13-year time period where we're shifting out of the energy of the past 13 years.
Yeah.
Y'all, that is a big deal.
And the 13 is like the highest level of the four because it breaks down to a four. But even our country understands the importance of the 13 and the four. That's why look at the area code and the zip code for the White House. 4, 13 strikes. The 13
Mm-hmm.
naval ships
13
guarding the
stripes.
colonies. Like
Mm-hmm.
even on the dollar, the money, 13 claws, 13 of the things overhead. It all like what's crazy is the things that they tell you are demonic, the things that they tell you to run from, hide from, are the things that they are using
Mm-hmm.
for their benefit. They just don't want the people to use it. They don't want y'all to have this information, to understand this information, because then you'd be able to use this information for your gain, for your blessings, for your level up. And the goal is not for all the people to level up, because then who'd be at the bottom? Who could
Right.
we use? Nobody.
And there it is.
This
And
country is
there it is.
shaking.
Shady. So
The world
shady.
is a ghetto.
Mm-hmm. So, okay,
But
what
you were
else is
saying.
going on? Yeah, I mean, like, that's what I have for
But
these
also,
outer planets
the
shifting.
13
Mm-hmm.
tarot deck is also the death card. So,
Mm.
and now people think, oh my God, death. That's not always a
That's
bad
not what
thing.
it means.
It's
Yeah.
it's not like, oh my God, we're all gonna die. It's even like how even with the 9, it's more of like an ending of a
Ending
cycle,
of a cycle.
which
Yep.
which is a good thing
Mm-hmm.
because it's always good to start anew. And if you're
Mm-hmm.
on your P's and Q's, your new will always be better than what you just came
Then
out of.
you're exactly.
I can't
So
wait.
this is going to be, this really has a lot of potential to be an exciting year for those who are willing to take
Yes.
advantage of it. Um, so with it being Black History Month, we do want to do a cute little shout out, because I think it's so important that as Black creators, one, we're also talking about the importance of Black history because there is no American history without Black history. I need people to understand that. I really need people to understand that. Like,
I know
there
a lot
is no American
of history
history.
without that. Let me tell you something. Where was Jesus born
Come on now. There is no world history
without Black
without Black
history?
history. Literally. Literally. Like, so, kind of related to like our episode and our topics, a little astrology and a little numerology. We
Yes.
actually have some amazing Black minds to shout out. And
Yes.
one that I think has grown a lot of popularity lately, more people have seen his face for sure and might not know his name. So I'm going to say this guy's
And
name.
one.
I'm going to say it twice. Y'all go look him up and you'll be like, oh yeah, he was talking about space. Yes. So there is this brilliant astrophysicist, Neil deGrasse Tyson. He is phenomenal. Harvard grad. I mean, he's done phenomenal things. He writes so many great books. He's a phenomenal author when it comes to topics about black holes and just all the wild phenomena of space. And I think it's so interesting, especially for like, of course, our children, godchildren, nieces, nephews, but like people our age and our parents to know that out there are people who look like us that are doing things so big and so wonderful for the world. And like, this man is considered an authority when it comes to like timelines and dimensions and like conversations on the bigger things in life that as minuscule beings we could never really grasp and understand like the grandness of them. Like for me, science is one of the most complicated languages in explaining God's grace, beauty, and brilliant like design and artistry. It's just another, to me, it's another language that's
It
used to
is.
describe what's
Science
going on around us.
explains spirituality.
It explains
It just explains
spirituality, and
it.
spirituality explains science. But people aren't willing to see that they work hand in hand. And I think even in some of the conversations Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson has had, he has talked about the connection. Maybe it's about astrology and astronomy, because this is someone who's in astrophysics. So we're talking about like true astronomy combining with physics, talking about laws, gravity, the dynamics and situations of how things be moving and staying in place at the same time. Like that's what they do. And it's so grand and big that if you're not in that field, that seems like a whole nother language, because it is. So like this is a brilliant mind that I think we all need to know about. So that's my Black History
Yeah.
shout
So mine is Lloyd. I was about to say Lord.
out.
I don't know what the people.
Yes, Lord.
Somebody might look at it right. Yes, Lord.
Yes, Lord.
All out for it. Mine is Lloyd Strayhorn. He is an astronumerologist. He's been around for like talking to the peoples, the Oprahs, and all of that for over 40 years, which is like twice as long as I've been here. I'm just saying. So keep the lie alive.
Wow.
He's an author.
So
He wrote
bold with
the
it.
name of the book that he wrote, Numbers in You. It's basically a way to like everything is a number, right? Frequencies. He breaks down frequencies. Even if you guys think about, because even with talking about astronomy and astrology, when you think about frequencies, you think about even coding. Letters align to numbers, right?
That's
He
true.
talks about how you can break down not just your birthday, but your name. Like, and he does it live. He will break down the numbers in people's names and then tell them about them based on the number.
Wow.
It is the wildest thing. Like, and if you do your own, it'll make sense to you. And the reason why I am such a big fan of him and like became so obsessed with it is like, for one, everybody knows I'm a science nerd. I was a biochemistry major. I'm a lab girl. I love all the little nerdy things when it comes to science. But also, it's like when you really realize how embedded numbers is in literally every single, you can't go a day and not use numbers.
Period.
You can't. It's impossible.
They're everywhere.
Even when you think about how like letters, when they do coding, letters align to numbers. I don't know if the people know about coding, but letters and even in coding align to numbers. It's how they can put memory on your DNA. It all aligns to numbers. The frequencies, the energy, it all aligns with numbers. You think about God, numbers. The seven. That's why I say the seven is God. 7 days. God spent 7 days. And then if you think about it too, when you think about the 7 days, they say that 70 years is like a world cycle, right? But that's 1 day. 70 years is technically 1 day. So if God created Earth in 7 days, how many years was it really? Because we just know days
Right.
in our
In
think about
our
the 7 days of the
understanding.
week. 52 weeks in a year breaks down to the 7. We even use the 7 very, very, very heavily. 7 is nature. We use it very, very, very heavily in everyday life, and we don't even realize it. We don't even notice it. And so that's why I'm such a big fan. I love watching his interviews. I love like reading his books and all that stuff because you learn so much, not about yourself, but it just makes you look at the world so differently. It makes you look at everything so differently.
I love that.
And he breaks down how you can use numbers to your advantage in your everyday life. And who wouldn't want to use things to their
Come
advantage
on
in their
now.
everyday life?
I mean, using it to the advantage is the thing. Because let me tell you, I used to have a really unhappy relationship with numbers because I got tired of seeing them. Like math class was not, I didn't like math. I still don't like math. And so, yeah, It's okay.
I love it.
But it was I began to heal my relationship with numbers in college. I took an econ stats class. I had to take two of
Mhm.
them, and I made A's in them. And I don't know what it was about econ stats, but I was like, oh, I get this. This is, oh yeah. And then what you do is you take the formula and then you put it over A.
That's
Like,
what you've been doing, friend. It just got
I don't
explained
know
differently. That's
why.
all.
I think it was
It's
because I was using it
it was
differently.
digestible.
No, and it
Yeah,
wasn't even that I didn't understand it. I just didn't like doing it. I was like, I don't want to do this. I was like,
it's
there.
so
Let me
funny.
tell you, I was
It's
in
so
AP
funny when people say
Cal,
that because I
I was in
love
AP
that.
Cal, I was in AP Pre-Cal, and every time I was like, but I don't want to do this. They're
When
like,
I say
but
I love
nobody made you
numbers, I'm
take
a
this class. I
Sudoku
was like,
girl.
but y'all said this is what I have to do as an honor student. I don't want to be here. Like I would rather be anywhere. Can I go back to English? Can I go to history? Yeah, I'm a writer. I'm a
Yeah,
writer. English, history makes so history is nothing but drama and telling stories. And I
yeah.
can't shut up.
But see, history wasn't fun for in school for me because they was lying. So it was just like, what are we doing?
Now I had one teacher, okay, and then I'm gonna get off I had this one teacher in history, when I was ninth and maybe ninth and tenth grade history. I had her. And she was a hoot. I mean, hilarious, funny,
Mhm.
funny woman. And she was on the younger side. She wasn't an older teacher. She was a little bit younger teacher, like maybe in her
Mhm.
30s, 40s. No, she was definitely in her 40s. So, this woman was hilarious. Students loved her, phenomenal sense of humor. It was almost like taking a class with like a fun, cool Rachel Ray. Like she gave Rachel Ray kind of energy. Like,
Yeah.
but like like Rachel Ray is kind of how she sounded, but she gave Fran Drescher energy.
Oh
So
yeah.
she was just kind of over the top, but like kind of, you loved her. You loved her. Okay. So when she would talk about history, it was the funniest thing because that's what made me also enjoy her classes. Is she would be talking about like, let's say, who was the king that had all the wives? Was it
Charles the King.
Louis? I think it was Louis 16. Think he was Louis 16. Henry the Eighth. That's who it was. Henry the Eighth. I don't know how I got
Not
Louis
Louis
16
16.
to Henry the Eighth. It was Henry the Eighth because he had Anne Boleyn and he had the Mary, Elizabeth's mom. This was Elizabeth's daddy, Queen Elizabeth, who had the golden age, her daddy. So she would tell the story like that though. She would be like, and he was hideous, y'all. He wasn't a handsome man, but they liked him because he was the king. And so gorgeous girl walks up and she's going to be the next queen and he doesn't like her. So head gone. Like that's how she would tell the story. So it would be hilarious, but we would get it because she literally would do that and you'd
Yeah.
read beheaded. So it's like, oh, okay. So cool. I was not the science kid, but as I've gotten older and I've had different science teachers and I found the science that really speaks to me and even understanding the language differently, it works.
Love it.
Chemistry, so yes, y'all, we want to thank y'all for riding in there with us. This is season 6. We're here. We're doing the thing. We're about to have a lot of fun with this next season. Y'all definitely expect some more Black history information
Yeah.
this month. Please be sharing information. Get down in those DMs and tell us something you learned. I mean, in those comments and tell us something you learned.
Don't come in
So
my DM.
yes, please don't flood the DMs with comments. We don't need a Black History trivia that was my bad. That was my bad. But we love y'all. We thank y'all and we'll see y'all next week in another episode of the 50 Limb Chronicles. Peace.
Gajira Bana.
All right. That'll do it.